Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back with the video. Hope you're well wherever you are. I'll try not to waffle in my intro, as I often do. Anyway, this is obviously part 3 of my ideas to potentially or hopefully benefit AC Milan, Inter Milan, and also Monza. So please check out parts 1 and 2 if you haven't done so. I appreciate you liking and sharing this video and leaving me any comments or any suggestions or ideas or thoughts or whatever you want to leave in the comment section. And here goes. So as I say, this is continuing on from parts 1 and 2. Number 21. I would love for AC Milan especially to bring back the glory days. As I mentioned in part 2, they were one of the most successful teams in history. I think they are pretty much level with Liverpool. I think now Liverpool recently caught them up, and unfortunately at the moment Liverpool are doing a lot better. Funny enough, they were actually in Liverpool's group in the Champions League as well, for those who follow football. I'm sure you'll know that. But yeah, so I would love for them to do as well as possible and to bring back the glory days. As a big fan of Italian football generally, I'd love to see AC and Inter do well and have the wealthiest possible owners and sponsors to bring back the good days, the good old days or glory days, and see what they can learn from their own previous teams, as well as and what they did right in the past, and what mistakes they made, and what they can learn from those sorts of things, and also from other teams as well. And also, as I mentioned in part 1, I think it'd be great for people, for AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Monza to have on their websites and YouTube channels, on their website and YouTube channel, and Facebook and whatever other social media they've got, to connect with fans and also encourage other fans, other people to become fans, and to talk about the history and encourage people to learn about the history. Maybe even have quizzes on their website. So, as I mentioned, like having games and quizzes that people could send in ideas or suggestions as well, and also so basically people to answer questions about like when the clubs were founded, respectively, or when the club was founded. Each would have it on their own website, of course, and things like that. So people learning about the history of those great clubs, and also more. I don't know why that happened again. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so number 22. On that note, I hope that Monde will also become another successful club and have the best possible youth investment, bringing young players, which will hopefully benefit Italian football generally, even if it becomes a feeder club or becomes a club that pushes great young players for the national team as well, especially, which I think will benefit. I'm a great believer in developing younger players, so I think it'd be great to see Monza become a world-class team, and to have a mix of younger and older players, and the older players to teach the younger players. So I know what I saw on YouTube about Monza. I don't know a huge amount about them, but as a fan of Italian football, I thought it would be quite interesting, because they said this is a club that people are likely to know about in the future, but they're signing so many star players, but unfortunately quite a lot of those players are quite old. So I'm more of a fan of developing younger players, but if they have their own academies and develop those academies, then at least those older players can teach younger players. And again, it'd be great to see sponsors, co-owners, investors, shareholders, and whatnot pouring money into youth development in Monza and Italian football generally, and also AC and Inter Milan especially. So yeah, hopefully looking into the future again, having 5-10 year plans and things like that. Number 23. I hope that they will have I hope Italian teams generally, as well as Celtic, will have as much money pumped into it as possible, but long-term growth and strategy. Sorry, as I mentioned, I think in part 2 that I think that was in part 1. As a fellow Celtic fan was saying that, talking about Celtic itself, they were saying that if a wealthy owner or investor invested in the club, then if they pulled their money out, then the club would go backwards. So I think it's important to have long-term growth and strategy. But I'd love to see many shareholders and investors, and maybe even people, as I say, leaving shares in their legacy, in their will, and things like that as part of their legacy. I know that's a bit of a morbid one, but yeah, so like as many billionaires as possible to invest. So even if some pull out, there'll still be others who invest their money, and hopefully the local, regional politicians and councillors and people like that will provide as many incentives for people to invest as possible, such as tax exemptions and things like that. as previously mentioned. Number 24, again, I would love to see as many Italian teams generally as possible do well in the Champions League, the Nations League, Europa League, or the Conference League, or what it's called, the Champions League, the Europa League, and the World Club Cup, even, and the Super Cup. So I'd love to see Italian teams dominate that in the future, just like English teams are doing at the moment. So I think that would be pretty cool, and hopefully see that. I hope to see that as soon as possible. Number 25. I hope that AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Monza will have fans from all around the world, especially across Asia, which is the most populated continent. And maybe as a return for my work that I try and do to help Asia, they will return favour by supporting teams like AC Milan and Inter Milan, or Italian teams generally, as well as Celtic. Number 26, I think it would be good for AC Milan and Inter Milan, respectively, to give back to the local community, but also to the world. Like maybe invite fans from around the world to go to the San Siro or the new San Siro and play football in Milan, if at all possible in the future, and basically engage with fans from around the world, and even donate to areas like in parts of Asia and Africa, and use the club to fundraise for those communities and groups, to hopefully help them as much as possible across Africa and Asia, and again improving relationships through football by having academies and sports clubs all over the world, including, as I said before, like in indigenous American communities, Native American communities, and things like that. Number 27, I think it would also be a wise idea, and it would be great to have like excuse me, a list of the top sponsors, supporters, and people who have contributed basically to the club, to have like a wall of fame, or hall of fame, or walk of fame, or maybe all three, to acknowledge and honour those who have contributed to the club in a positive way, each of those clubs respectively, to have their own honours list and things like that. Number 28, I hope they'll be able to turn the negative situation that Italian teams have been facing recently and not been doing well in Europe and internationally. I hope they'll be able to turn it around and do as well as possible. And also, like, I hope that making videos like this will help them to increase their brand. Maybe it's a pipe dream, but I think it's worth their shot. So I hope they'll be able to increase their brand value and go viral and trend and things like that. Number 29, I hope to encourage my fellow Anglo-Indians to support Italian football and Celtic, as well as possibly other Eurasian and mixed race groups, perhaps, again, to improve relations through football, and improve relations with between Italians and the rest of the world, and Celtic fans and the rest of the world through football. And number 30, as ever, I would love to hear your ideas, and in the future, hopefully, I'll come up with even more ideas. And I am out. Peace and love.